So we may have talked about a number of controversial topics before now, but we're going to wade into a really controversial one this time, which is, should you get certified as a what I call an XBE? And in this case, XBE is an all-inclusive term. It means DBE, which from the government means woman-owned business, minority-owned business. I think veteran is actually a separate category for them, and for the government, it doesn't include LGBTQ businesses. So XBE is all inclusive. It's LGBTQ. It is women. It is minority, which includes African American or Black owned business, Hispanic owned business, Indian American owned business, Asian American business, Native American business. It includes disabled business, veteran and services disabled veteran owned businesses in the U.S. Outside of the U.S., the the definitions include different categories, but XBE nonetheless. And in a number of countries, you can still get certified by agencies to make sure that you have met some minimum requirement that they need in order for them to take you to their customer group, whether their customers be the Fortune 500 or B2B and doing tenders or contracts, or whether they are working with you for government or institutional contracts. Now, I'm specifically talking about doing business with the Fortune 500 or the Fortune 1000. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make it clear that in this space, there is no XBE set aside. You are not guaranteed a contract because you are certified. This market doesn't work that way. The government market, there are set asides. There's X pool of money, and you go from there. Now, the problem with that on the government side is they cap you at how much money you can actually make and how many years you can be in their program, depending on which certification you go after. On the private side, they don't cap how much money you can make, and they don't cap how many years you can do contracts with them. You can have billion-dollar contracts with them, and you can do it for 20, 30, 50, 100 years, which is why this is a great market for building your legacy business. Now, since they don't have a set-aside, then what's the value of the certification? The value of the certification is the certification, if you know how to use it, can fast track you finding out what the opportunity looks like for your business in a Fortune 500. Now, a number of people who have tried to get certified had the expectation that their certification was going to get you a contract. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. I may sound like a broken record. A certification will not get you a contract. So if you're getting the business for the purpose of getting a contract, good news, it's not going to do it for you. What it will do is, all things being equal, it is a fantastic tiebreaker. All right. If it turns out that if somebody's doing an evaluation and they look at all the bids, they look at all the proposals, the pricing is right, the quality of service is right, the delivery is right, the service levels are right, then your certification with a lot of the Fortune 500s will be a phenomenal tiebreaker for you. And that's a different conversation around why that's the case, but it is. You just have to trust me on that, all right? And so if you're not getting bids, then there's a good chance that all things aren't equal just yet. And there's something you need to figure out as to what's going on in the market. And it is something you can figure out. It is something you can finesse. There are companies out there doing it every day. So it's just a matter of, you doing the work to get your opportunities and not looking back. Now, the second thing that happens with your XBE, and I have a good friend that talks about this, she describes it as, imagine that there's a secret entrance, there's a side entrance. So you don't have to get in line like everybody else. There's a side entrance that you can go through, and there are folks that are willing to be advocates for you once you clearly demonstrate that you can actually, knock it out the park. You can ring the bell. You can deliver the value. You everything is tight about your business, and that you are the person they need to have in there, there's a side door called supplier diversity, who can be advocates for you. Now, I know you may have had some experience with them in the past, and that's a much deeper conversation about how to effectively use them, how to make their job simpler. And yes, there are good and bad folks in the supplier diversity community. They'll tell you this, okay? That you have to finesse around. That comes with it. But there's good and bad folks in the buying community. There's good and bad people in the end user community. You're not going to be exempt from good and bad folks in the corporate space. The issue is, are you a strong supplier, and do you have the skill set to navigate your way through that, because you bring tremendous value. And oh, by the way, you get to pick your customers because you're a business owner. All right. You get to pick and choose who you do business with. That is one of those rights and flexibilities you get. So I am a fan of certifications. I think it's not an issue of should you get it. I think it's an issue of getting the one that works for you and then working your certification, because it has proven to be able to open doors for folks. Now, for some of you, you might say, I don't want to be recognized for that. That's fine. That's fine. Don't. Okay. If you decide that's not something you need, don't do it. But what I would tell you is a certification, it's better to be something that you have and not need than need and not have. And there are some advantages to you in being certified in our current times. So that would be my recommendation. It opens up additional resources and capabilities and things to support your business that you may otherwise not have access to, because right now there's a huge movement to make sure that there are opportunities for all businesses. So that's all I want to share with you on that. Once again, stay tuned for our Q&A and more details in this email. And schedule a good fit chat if you haven't, so we can talk a little bit further about your business and what specifically might we be able to do to support you. This is Randall signing off. Bye for now.